and gentlemen, welcome back to the Frontal Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
Amanda Gonzalez.
Let's fucking get it. Alright, guys. So, boy, were we wrong about Kamaru Usman. Because holy shit.
Exactly what we wanted to happen.
Exactly what we wanted to happen fucking happened. Like, that never happens for us at all anymore. And we've just come to accept the fact that we're always going to watch our favorite fighters lose. And boy, howdy, we were totally done, completely fucked sideways in that one.
Yes, we were. Usman came out there looking just like Usman should look.
That was the Kamaru Usman of old out there. What do you take out of Usman's performance here?
Nigerian Nightmare never went anywhere.
Yeah,
he was just
real.
working his new knees in.
Just got to work the new knees in, and he did all of that shit. Obviously, like we said in the last one, with broke knees. So I mean, I was so happy though. It was actually a pretty good fight night. Couple good finishes in there, but obviously, highlight was Kamaru Usman just beating the brakes on Joaquin Buckley. You won every single round except like one, I would say, and even that's like stretching a little bit because round 5 is like the only really round where Joaquin Buckley actually looked like he was Joaquin Buckley. So, I mean, it was Usman's night, man. That's exactly what we wanted to see. 38 years old, though. He's still up there in age. Still in a pretty ruthless division with a lot of young guys coming up. I don't know. Think Usman's got another title shot in him?
I'd like to see another title run out of him, but I don't want him to overwork himself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, maybe he should just keep doing, like big time fights like that. Or just bigger names.
But even then, like, if he had caught fucking Buckley's goddamn foot to the face, then you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no. It was fucking wild, man. I was like, holy hell. I mean, Joaquin Buckley hopped on MMA Hour this week. Ariel Helwani to talk about the loss, obviously. And he said he felt humiliated by it, but he's going to learn from it. Which, I mean, dude forgot how to stuff a takedown until the 5th round, so.
Joaquin Buckley, you can't do that. You are fighting a GOAT.
Like, you are fighting the second best welterweight ever. And, like,
it's either A game or no game. Come on, man.
Either A game or no game at this point, like you said. So, holy hell, Kamaru Usman last weekend was a treat. That was so much fun to watch. I was like, OMG, thank the Lord, we still have Usman. I don't know. Who do you think he fights now?
That's a tough one. Honestly, with a name like that, and given his age, I want to see, like, if not the next fight, then the fight after that, I want to see him for a title match.
Yeah.
Because, like, you all know how I hate when people just get rushed into a fucking title match, like fucking Triple C, who I love, busting his balls on that. Really, man? You came in with that game?
Yeah, Triple C.
But with someone that's up there, like, especially over 35 is when I get concerned about fighters, because any serious injury there
usually career ender.
Yeah, and it's gonna suffer them lifelong, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want him to get injured on his way to the championship. So if not the next and the one after that, I want championship for him.
I mean, he's a big enough name. We have a new champ up there now. We've had 2 new champs since Usman. So, I mean, well, obviously we had. We have had 2 new champs since Usman. We got Bilal after he beat the brakes off of Leon. Yep. Guy who took it from Usman and then defended it against him again. And then after he beat the brakes off Leon, friggin' JDM goes in there, puts on Fight of the Year 2025, and beats Bilal Muhammad for it. So yeah, we got a lot of new blood up at welterweight. So I mean, there's a lot of people that are obviously names like Shavkat's going to come into this. He was the rightful #1 contender until he got injured in camp. He was supposed to fight Bilal. And then JDM came in on, I think, 4 weeks' notice, something like that.
And JDM took it.
And JDM seized the moment, and took it. And holy shit, he's the champ now. Mm-hmm. And now we have Islam, obviously moving up to welterweight now. So he's bound, like, almost all but confirmed going to face JDM next. So JDM said he's gonna get Islam back for Volk.
Yep.
So I mean, if he brings that takedown defense, I got some faith that he will. You know, but you never know. Islam's a fucking legend, man.
Islam's a scary fucker.
Islam's a scary fucker. He's pound for pound #1 fighter for a fucking reason, and he's also, I would say, the greatest lightweight of all time. I think he's surpassed Khabib at this point. Even though, like, I know Khabib had the pretty record, but like I think the depth of people that Islam has faced and types of fights he was in would warrant him the best. Great.
See, the thing is, especially when we're talking about it, like right now, where
Mm-hmm.
you're saying he's probably better than Khabib there, is right now what we're talking about is we're talking about how Islam has defended it against the guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't a fan back then. I don't know for sure. Was Khabib defending against the guys back then? You know?
Yeah, I mean he kind of was. He did face some good competition. It's just most of them were favorable matchups for him, which obviously it's a fight, anything can happen. But it just seemed to me like Khabib fought better, like better matchup fights than Islam did. Islam took the tougher fights.
Mm.
But I mean, Khabib won the belt off Ally Quinta first of all, which he was a top 10 lightweight, and he wasn't even supposed to even be touching the title at that point in time. But because UFC 223 is just gonna go down in history as the most fucked sideways card ever. Um,
Didn't we have that catchweight one?
yeah, no, that one was good. 287 was a wild one, but
That was pretty fucked though.
that was pretty fucked. But nah, 223 was the ultimately fucked card, only rivaled by the 287 card. Like literally, the lead up to that fight was insane. It's supposed to be Khabib and Tony, and Tony was the interim. Khabib was the undisputed. Well, Khabib was well, not like actually not. Tony got stripped of the interim. Conor got stripped of the lightweight belt, of the undisputed belt. So Tony and Khabib were supposed to fight it out for the lightweight title, which that was the match to make at the time. And then Tony obviously shatters his knee after tripping over a cord. And
If they had only gone cordless.
if they had only gone cordless in 2018, we would be looking at a different reality. But after Tony got hurt, then freaking they called up RDA, who was the former champ. Well, two former champs, like two champs ago, to that point. So, called up RDA. RDA wasn't available, and then there was no other lightweights on the card that were really able to fill in that were high ranking. And I think that's why the UFC does other high ranking people in the same division that the title is for, because of UFC 223. So uh nobody else was there. So Max Holloway said, I'll come up to the plate. He was the featherweight champ at the time. He said, I'll challenge to try to get double champ, right? This is a legacy fight. I'll fucking go for it, right? And Max Holloway was just killing it at this time. He had just beat the brakes off of Brian Ortega for the second time, I think. So yeah, he was, yeah, let's go, bro. And then when we get to Thursday, right, like a day before the fighters are supposed to weigh in, right? And then the doctors in New York at the time, because New York was still really just legalized MMA at the time, so they were like really strict on the regulations when it came to like weight cuts, when it came to fights. So the rules were a lot stricter in New York because they just legalized it. So they were checking in on Max, and Max Holloway apparently wasn't doing too good with the weight cut, so the doctors told him to stop, even though Max himself said he was okay. But I think every fighter is going to say they're okay. So, if he was actually in bad shape, I don't know. But all I know is I saw later in that week, like watching just press releases to that point, Max seemed fine. But then again, you never know how somebody's actually feeling compared to what they say. So, give or take that one. And then after Holloway dropped out, then they had to fucking scramble to get other people to fight for the title, and then ultimately the only person that was available and on a win at the time was Ally Quinta, who was the number 11 or 10th ranked lightweight at the time. Like, dude shouldn't have even touched the belt at that moment, but dude was selling fucking houses and rental properties on the side at this point in time. So then they called in Ally Quinta, and then obviously Khabib beat the brakes off Ally Quinta. And then after Ally Quinta came Conor McGregor, which Conor McGregor was never known for good wrestling at all. I mean, he did have pretty good takedown defense early on, but we know McGregor's cardio is shit. And then after that, obviously the big brawl happened, and then Khabib fought Dustin Poirier a year later in Abu Dhabi. Dustin almost got him with the ghillie, but then again, Dustin's also not known for his incredible wrestling. So, dude can hold his own, but he's no Khabib when it comes to wrestling. So, another striker versus mauler wrestler at this point. And then after that, another year off. That's the other problem that I had with Khabib was he's not that active of a fighter. He took another year off and he faces Justin Gaethje, who also has allergic reactions to takedowns. And then yeah, I just think the people that he faced, yes, they were the guys for Khabib to face that time, but they were just such favorable matchups for him. Meanwhile, you have Islam, who beats Charles Oliveira for it. And after he beats Charles Oliveira for the belt, he goes and he faces Alexander Volkanovski and beats him up. And then he goes and faces Alexander Volkanovski again and knocks him out this time. And then after that, he goes and he faces Dustin Poirier, who also not known for his incredible wrestling, but this was Dustin Poirier on a fucking mission. So he faced the best version of Dustin Poirier and a better version of Dustin Poirier than the Khabib fight, because I honestly think Dustin took the experience of the Khabib fight to prepare for Islam, and it was actually going very well for him until, well, ankle pick in the fifth
Fucking
round.
ankle pick.
Until, well, ankle pick in the fifth round. So halfway through it, in a round that Dustin was winning, never gonna get over it. But nah. So then he faced the better version of Dustin Poirier, the man on a mission, Dustin Poirier. And then obviously this last one's a little fluky, but he still beat like a grappler. I mean, he beat Renato Moicano because I mean before he got caught in the Darce choke, Renato Moicano did stun Islam for a second, did stuff a takedown, kind of, and was able to survive a round, but then he got submitted in the second. So I mean, and the only thing that like might tarnish like Islam's legacy at lightweight is that he never faced Armin. But I think if he wins another title against JDM, that might solidify it. And then if he defends against the other good grapplers in welterweight, which he could do, then obviously we've strayed way off track now. But
Little bit.
uh, back to the good old welterweight division. Yeah, so more than likely Islam Makhachev is going to be facing um, JDM for the title next, and then JDM after that maybe faces Usman. I mean, it would make sense. I mean, if you're going from one grappler camp, might as well go to another one. So or obviously Shavkat's always lurking as well. So I don't know. Maybe you do Usman Shavkat, but I don't know if I want to see that. So it's the only other fight I can really think of is maybe doing Usman Shavkat. Um, but even then, I think Shavkat should be getting a title fight like after Islam. You know, or it's either going to be Shavkat or Usman, and Usman will probably sell more. So they might actually go with Usman next, assuming that they actually stick with it. But I don't know. Time will tell. Depends on the availability of the fighters, and more than likely, Shavkat's going to be available before Kamaru Usman is again. So I mean, Usman didn't take any damage in that fight, but after a long camp, I'm sure dude wants to take some time off for a bit. Spend time with the kids. So I think Shavkat's going to be readily available before Usman, but you never know.
I wonder if Islam will try fighting Usman and then Shavkat gets his title shot.
Islam and Usman would be a fucking incredible fight. I don't know who would win in that scenario, to be honest with you, but I would think Islam might have a slight edge. But I mean, Usman, that's his home, man. He's been fighting at this division for fucking years, so like that would actually be a pretty good fight. I know there's some mutual respect there between Usman and Team Khabib, but they've trained together a couple of times, but never like a teammate. So could happen. I mean, that could just be like just a friendly matchup. Could be an Oliveira Poirier scenario, or like they're on good terms, but just we happen to be wanting the same thing at this current moment, and that's what we're gonna do. They could do that. I know there is a. I don't know if Islam refuses to fight Usman or vice versa. I don't think either of them have come out and said that they wouldn't fight each other, but neither of them say would. Ugh, neither of them said that they would. So that's potential. You do Islam and Usman, but I think more than likely, how it's gonna roll is Islam's gonna get title grab before Shavkat. Unfortunately,
I mean, personally, like, Shavkat is, like, the
it
number one
should be.
contender.
He should
You
be.
got Islam moving up from a different division. He hasn't made a splash
Yeah,
yet, so it'd be a good way for him to get his feet wet in the new division. And then you give Usman someone who's not the champion since he just came back, but is a champion.
Yeah, so I don't know. It depends on how the UFC is going to do it, but coming from a marketing perspective, I think for sure they're going to want to make Islam and JDM before anything. So even ooh, that was a good one. That's the fucking smoke coming off of it too. Oh, I don't know if it's smoke or vapor. I think it's more vapor than anything else, but you had the vapor coming off of it. Oh. That was a good crack. That might have been the best one. You've had a couple good ones on this one.
Yeah,
But
I like that
anyway,
one.
that being said, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, hit us up. FrontRowAccess15 at gmail.com. We will market your products perfectly. And, we'll also shout out Anheuser-Busch while we're here, even though I have none of their products on the table. But, we want that Bud money. So, we will 100% take it. But, yep, you guys can also email that one with suggestions. I check it twice a week, usually, and there's almost nothing in there, like, ever. So,
Oh, we uploading this tonight?
yeah.
Shout out to anyone in our region. There's gonna be some fights over in Tiverton. We're gonna check it out.
Hell yeah. We got some people from my gym, New England Taekwondo, heading down. Teammate Mason is going to be fighting. See if he can get the W here. We also have a bunch of other people from Gillette's MMA, great gym. And even one of the Muay Thai gyms out here in Rhode Island. I forget one of them. I forget what the name of it is right now, but for sure. I don't know if we have any to share MMA people coming down here. That'd be kind of wild if we did. So, but we definitely got some people from Triforce MMA coming down, probably. So yeah, it should be a good night of fights. We'll be at the fights. If you guys are seeing this by then, we'll be at the fights Saturday night. Saturday night, 6 p.m. So, if you guys wanna, if anybody going to that event knows who the fuck we are, we'll be there.
Isn't that a stretcher last time?
Yeah, because somebody broke their leg off of a perfect check. Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude threw the leg kick and fucking shin went snap snap with the shin guards on. We had to wait for the paramedics to come by. The whole event got paused for about 20 minutes. But yeah, it's just how it rolls, man. That's our amateur MMA, amateur kickboxing circuit right there. These motherfuckers got something to prove, even if it means breaking their leg.
Yep.
We also had somebody fall through the ropes last time. That was pretty crazy. Saw a couple Wild Wars last time. There was one fight in particular. I think the co-main event of that night. It was just an absolute fucking slugfest. So yeah, some good fights going down at Gillette's MMA. So shout out to you guys, and of course, let's go New England Taekwondo.
Let's not say break a leg though.
Yeah, let's not say break a leg. I think that would be very bad luck. Anyway, back to our scheduled programming. Now that our ad is done, our own manufactured ad that we don't get paid jack shit for.
Promotion?
More a promotion than anything else. But yeah. So Usman looking pretty good right now.
Yep.
Islam probably gonna get another title fight. JDM, get fucking ready. You've got some competition in front of you. Let's see. I think Kevin Holland just called out Colby Covington as well, so that would be a fun fight. Honestly,
Been waiting on Colby. See what he does now.
Ever since he got the break speed off of him by Joaquin Buckley. But yeah. Meanwhile, guys, we got fights this week.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Actual UFC fights.
We got fights on fights.
Yeah, we got actual UFC fights tomorrow. We have Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill, former title challenger, former champion, going at it. Where are they? They're at the Baku Crystal Hall in Baku, Azerbaijan. So, should be a good night of fights. Very early. The prelims start at 12 p.m. Beware. I'm going to be working, so I'm going to miss the prelims and probably the main card because it starts at 3, and I'm probably going to be getting ready to get to the fights.
An hour.
Tiverton's an hour away, especially at that time. So, probably going to book it there, so we're probably going to miss all the fights tomorrow, but we'll watch them Sunday, probably. Or, I mean, if you're down and you're still alive after the Gillette's MMA event is done, then we can come back here and watch them.
Working Sunday too, so probably after I get out.
Yeah, so yeah, it might be more of a Sunday gig than anything else, but should be a good fight though. Both strikers, I don't expect that fight to hit the ground at all. We also have some notable fighters on there. We have Rafael Fiziev, obviously Azerbaijan's own. Rafael Fiziev is going to be in the co-main event, which I don't think makes any sense, but maybe Fiziev isn't a big enough event to main event, which is stupid, seeming as he's fought Justin Gaethje twice now. So I mean, and Justin Gaethje will headline any fucking fight night if he ever gets demoted to that, which I don't think he will. I think every fight of Justin Gaethje's will be pay-per-view. But from now until he retires. So yeah, we have Rafael Fiziev, Azerbaijan's own, going against Ignacio Bahamondes from Chile. And we also have Curtis Blades and Rizvan Kuniev. I totally did not pronounce his name right, but he's from Russia, so pretty close by. And let's see what else we have in here. We have another Azerbaijani fighter, Tafik Mozlayev. He's fighting a Kazakhstani. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm so sorry to this man, but I cannot pronounce your name at all, and I'm usually the one that can pronounce these names. So I don't know how that would be said in the slightest. So I'll be waiting for the call on that one to know what his name is.
What if they don't call?
Then I'm gonna be like, well, I guess he's just gonna be that guy. We also have another Azerbaijani fighter on here, Nazim Sadakov. He's going against Nicholas Mata from the United States. And then we have Tajikistani, also close by. We have Mohammad Naimov and Bogdan Gorod. So yeah, we got some pretty cool fights going down on there. We also have Tagir Ulanbekov fighting on this card. He's from Team Khabib, for those of y'all that don't know. So Khabib might be in the corner for that one. He's from Russia, also close by. And then we have Big Brother fought last weekend. Little Brother's fighting this weekend. Muhammad Usman coming up to bat in a heavyweight bout against Egypt's own Hamdi Adalwab. So, there's your main card and prelims for you. I'm really only going to talk about the last 3 fights on the main card because we have a pay-per-view to go over. Spoiler alert. So, here we go. We have Khalil Roundtree Jr. and Jamal Hill. We have Rafael Fiziev, Ignacio Bahamondes. We have Curtis Blades and Rizvan Kuniev. So, starting with Blades. I love Blades so much. He's my favorite UFC heavyweight in the entire world. I think he's the best. I think he's the guy. And I think he's amazing at everything he fucking does. I don't know if you could tell by my rapid head shaking. I am not a big fan of Curtis Blades. So, I fucking hate this guy, even though he's from America. And, this Russian guy is the plus 215 underdog as we currently stand, and Curtis Blades is the minus 265 favorite. And his last fight, he beat the brakes off of Jalin Almeida, who was on a tear through the heavyweight division, to say the least, until he ran into Curtis Blades. So, obviously, both guys are very grappling heavy. Both guys got insane power. I think Curtis Blades is far faster than Kuniev here. But there's always that home field advantage. The Russian is close, kind of in their home realm right now. It's about as close as they're gonna get to Russia. This is about as close as they're gonna get to Russia. So he's kind of in his own backyard. So that's always a factor. But you have a top 5 heavyweight versus a non-ranked heavyweight. So without a doubt, I think Curtis Blades gets the edge in this one, probably by a decision. I see him out wrestling him.
Yeah, rankings speaks for themselves here. I think they just pulled up some local guy who they could get.
Just to put some asses in the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some local guy to come in, put some asses in the seats.
So what, would this be featured?
Yeah, that would be featured fight number.
I mean, he gets into the featured.
That's pretty good. I mean, for a non-ranked person, you either you're mostly shooting for featured prelim at that point in your career. If you're getting featured fight on a main card, that's like, holy fuck, Christmas dinner, brother. Like, Merry Christmas. Yeah, they don't do Christmas. But yeah, they don't do Christmas. But it's like a big fucking feast. So big Ramadan feast. We'll call it that after the fasting's done, obviously. But yes. So I think the rankings speak for themselves here. We have a number 5 heavyweight in the world facing a non-ranked opponent. As much as we always like to see the home guys shine, obviously, but I just can't see. Uh, I can't see Homeboy getting out of this one alive.
Yeah.
Well, he'll get out of it alive, but he's not gonna win. Next up, though, we have Rafael Fiziev and Ignacio Bahamondes. This fight does not have any odds. It's going to be very close because both guys are very similar in fighting styles. Rafael Fiziev is a high pressure, movement forward, tiny tank that kicks a lot. Ignacio Bahamondes is quick, stands on the outside, and kicks a lot. So, both guys have great hands. Both guys got good power, obviously. We have Fiziev, whose career highlight to this point is getting into 2 fights with Justin Gaethje and winning 2 rounds against Justin Gaethje. So it's always round 1. Rafael Fiziev comes out like a bat out of hell, and usually has an excellent round 1. But then it only takes a little bit of time before a counter striker like Ignacio Bahamondes, or just a more technical striker like Justin Gaethje, to figure out what you're doing and start cutting some angles, start playing some defense and turning that shit into offense. So I mean, gonna be a close fight. It just comes down to, will Ignacio Bahamondes find the right counter before Rafael Fiziev hits the lights out button. And I love Ignacio Bahamondes. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. Kid's young, but I got Fiziev for this one. He's the number 11 ranked lightweight in the world. He has 2 fights with Justin Gaethje that he definitely learned a lot of lessons from. Because so he definitely knows high competition, and I just don't see Ignacio Bahamondes on that same playing field, despite his bright future ahead of him. So I will have to say that Rafael Fiziev is going to come out with this one, probably by a finish, and most likely early. I'm going to say round 1, maybe end of round 1.
I'm gonna go a different route because I love Ignacio Bahamondes.
I love Ignacio, man. He's
And I'm
so
gonna
awesome.
say decision victory.
For Fiziev or Bahamondes?
Bahamondes. I think he'll survive the first round, pick him off, not be able to take him down, or knock him out, or get a TKO or submission, and he'll just win by the judges by round 2 and 3.
Nice. All right, we'll have to see how that one plays out. Should be a pretty good battle. I mean, it's going to come down from counter striker versus straight pressure fighter. So, I mean, and usually the Kryptonite 2-way pressure fighter is a counter fighter. So, that's that event right there. Now, on to this main event. Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree. As the odds stand right now, Khalil Roundtree is a minus 155 favorite to a plus 130 underdog in Jamal Hill. So odds are pretty close. Both guys have similar fighting styles. Both guys have similar power. Despite Khalil Roundtree Jr. looking like he's built like a brick shit house, he's got a lot of power. Yes, he's got a lot of accuracy in his punches. But yeah, I mean, so does Jamal Hill. So I think Jamal's a little less disciplined when it comes to the defense, but he can dish out some offense and can wrestle a little bit more than Khalil Roundtree can. But Khalil Roundtree's coming off of an absolute fucking war with Alex Pereira, where he knocked the champ down, where he was able to get the best of him in a couple of exchanges, but definitely not enough to win the fight, obviously, because round 3 knockout.
We got any news from Pereira?
That dude's just absent right now. I don't know, ever since losing the belt back in March to Magomed Ankalaev, we haven't heard much out of Poatan. Not even any rumors circulating who he's fighting next. Because, I mean, he's fought pretty much everybody in that division. Then the top 5, sometimes, some people multiple times. Yuri Prohaska stands out amongst that. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Poatan. All I know is he is going to be at Fan Fest in New York in a couple of weeks. So, and I think his booth is free for you to visit, which is pretty cool of him.
Are you gonna go visit Botan in a few weeks?
Probably not. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So, but yeah, no, it's gonna. I know he's going to that, and he's probably gonna have something lined up for International Fight Week as well. He might, well, not lined up for it, but he'll probably do something along with International Fight Week going down in Vegas. But yeah, not much news or rumors out of Poatan at all, to be honest. And even my inside source didn't tell me anything. So, I'm not in actual direct contact with them. I've interacted with them like on campus and on campus only. Shout out Kyle Bowler. I heard you just won your second title. Two-weight champion kickboxing right now. Holy fucking shit, dude. You're doing all right out here. So, hoping to see you on the Contender Series, and congratulations on graduating if you're off chance watching this. Congratulations on graduating, and dude, good job in your last fight. He's from Tashare MMA. He's my inside source, if you will. I've interacted with him a few times, but yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, so I don't know. With this fight, they're both similar. They both fight similarly. They both have crazy power, and they both have a pretty well versed style of like dynamic striking. So they both use pretty much all 8 limbs. They use the elbows, the knees, the fists, the legs. But I just think Khalil Roundtree's a little bit more defensively sound and a bit faster than Jamal Hill, and I think that's gonna edge him out. Maybe and I mean Jamal Hill taking 2 knockouts in a row now. I don't know how his chin's holding up. So give me Khalil Roundtree by a round 2 knockout.
Yeah, I got Roundtree for this too. I don't know the how, but I got more faith in his ability to win than I do Jamal's.
Plus, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like Roundtree's a more complete fighter. Um, he, like, I don't know. He just seems more disciplined when it comes to all the shit. So, I don't know. Well, we'll see. Moving on to our next segment. I mentioned International Fight Week, and by the time this is uploaded, it's International Fight Week. So, let's go, guys. We have UFC 317 coming live from the T-Mobile Arena on Saturday, June 28th. So, this coming Saturday by the time this is uploaded. Well, next Saturday by the time this is
Not the
uploaded.
Saturday you're currently seeing this uploaded on.
A week from today. A week from today. But obviously, we want to get our shit out there and, you know, do our thing real quick. So, Topuria versus Oliveira, vacant lightweight belt on the line, headlines the joint. Excellent headliner, in my humble opinion, for this card. If we can't get fucking Aspinall and Jones, which we're never getting at this point, so hashtag strip John Jones. But you know, we have Topuria and Oliveira, which I'm good with that being a main event. I think that's an awesome main event, and I think it's going to absolutely fuck. I think it's going to be a great fight. We also have another title fight. We have Alessandro Pantoja for, I think, his fucking, no, this is his second International Fight Week appearance. And, you know, he won the belt during International Fight Week last time out against, well, not last time out, 2 years ago, against Brandon Moreno. So, he faces Kai Kara France in this one. I mean, obviously, we'll get into it later, but you guys know Pantoja continues to impress me almost every single time he fights. So that's that. We also have another group of flyweights on this card, and we have Joshua Van, who just fought like 3 weeks ago and had a early finish, like round 1, knocked the fucking shit out of the other guy. So he's like, might as well strike while the iron's hot. Put me in, coach. So, because Brandon Royval's original opponent, I believe it was supposed to be Asakura, ended up dropping out. I could be wrong when I tell you that though. Hold on, I'm going to double check myself. Make sure I'm not telling lies. There we go. Nope. This fight was just what's happening. Okay. And okay, now I see why this fight got made. Royval and Joshua Van got made because Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov got canceled. Like I said, that fight wasn't happening, guys. I never believe it when they tell me Paulo Costa's fighting. I'm like,
Didn't have no secret juice.
Yeah, I'm like, or maybe he took too much secret juice and fucking OD'd on it. But yeah, no. Kopylov and Costa was supposed to be in that spot, and I think it was Paulo Costa that couldn't make it. Which, to be honest, that's typical Paulo Costa.
Yeah, that's his trend.
That's his trend. This dude just never follows through on shit most of the time. So whenever there's a fight announced for Paulo Costa, I'm like, that fight's not happening. And then when it does happen, I'm like, holy fucking shit, it's happening. Holy fuck. And like I said, I don't really consider the fight happening until they're both in there. They both make their walkout. They're in their
Refs there.
corners. The door's closed.
Refs there.
Ref's there. Ref's there. Door's closed. Ref's there. Bell rings. When that happens, then the fight is happening. But until then, fight's not happening. So, Brendan Royval, Joshua Van, going to be fighting it out in this. I think I think Brendan Royval was supposed to fight like maybe 2 weeks after
Yeah.
International Fight Weeks. I remember something getting announced for him when the Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov fight got announced. So it could be you just said, "All right, fuck it, we'll cut our time in half," and plus Joshua Van's coming off a victory from 3 weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago at max. So yeah, Brandon Royval, Joshua Van, both of these guys are very similar fighters, to be honest. They're both very quick, they're both very fast, they're very precise, they got excellent footwork, and possess a lot of volume. Maybe not a lot of power, a lot of volume. And they got a lot of accuracy, too, and, precision beats speed most of the time. So, or precision beats power most of the time, I should say. So, yeah, Brendan Royval, Joshua Van should be a pretty entertaining fight. We also have Beneil Dariush is back, guys. I haven't seen you since you got head kicked by Charles Oliveira. So, that was like 2 years ago to this point. So, welcome back, Beneil Dariush. Lightweight's a little bit different since your last appearance. And,
Only a little bit.
actually, no, his last appearance wasn't the Oliveira fight. It was when he got knocked the fuck out by Arman Sarukian. And that was his last fight. Yeah, he got head kicked by Oliveira, then lost to Sarukian. Yeah, that's right. So he is on a skid, a pretty big skid. So I think he's on. There's another person that I think he. No, he's on a 2-fight skid. He won that fight. But anyway, Beneil Dariush is back, and he's facing Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano just recently fought for the lightweight championship back in January, if you guys remember that. And actually, before he got finished, was kind of doing all right. I mean, he did stun Makhachev a little bit, or maybe Makhachev just lost his footing, but he did connect with a pretty clean cross, I remember. And I also do remember him, holding his own on the ground, reversing positions and whatnot, but then, Islam's just that fucking good. So he was able to submit him in the second round. But
It happens when you fight that guy.
it's just like, bro, like, should so that's actually a pretty nice fight to have on here. We also have Peyton Talbot, who's back after getting the brakes beat off of him in his last fight. So we're gonna see if Peyton Talbot hype still pairs up after this one. He's going against Felipe Lima, who's also kind of a savage. Can't lie to you. So yeah, we'll have to see how that fight goes. We also have Jack Hermanson and Gregory Rodriguez as the featured prelim, which is a pretty good one. We always love seeing RoboCop in the fights, because he's RoboCop and he's cool. And who else do we have on our preliminary card here? The only one on here is Vivian Araujo and Tracy Cortez that I'm seeing, which is weird. This card still doesn't look finished, despite it being this week. By the time this is, actually next week. By the time this is uploaded, I plan on getting this out there tonight. So yeah, we have Jack Hermanson, Gregory Rodriguez, Vivian Araujo, and Tracy Cortez, and we have Jonta Diniz and Justin Tafa, which is weird. I'm like, where are all the prelims? Are they just not out there yet? Is this a short card? Is this like what's going on here, man? I'm like, it's next week, and here we are dragging our feet. But regardless, though, we'll go over all of them. Starting at the very top with, bottom, should I say, with Justin Tafa. And, yeah, Jonta Diniz here from Brazil. Diniz is the fucking minus 340 favorite. Justin Tafa, although cool, is the plus 270 underdog. So I think that one just kind of goes without saying. And it's, Brazil versus New Zealand. Brazil tends to win in those scenarios. Both guys are coming off of losses, though. So, looks like Diniz has the reach advantage by a significant margin, 79.5 inches to Justin Tafa's 74. Leg reach is 41 to 40. Justin Tafa's got some long ass legs. God damn. We have Diniz, who's 8-1. We have Tafa, who's 7-5 with 1 no contest. So, I think Denny's got this one, just ever so slightly, and maybe not so slightly. But love you, Justin Taffa, but you're going down, baby. I'm sorry. So what you got for that one, Ant?
You know, I really want to say Toph is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I really would like to say that, but I couldn't say that truthfully. So,
Yep, Denny's for the win. Brazil, let's go. Anyway, we also have Vivian Araujo, who's just a friggin' veteran at this point in the game. She has been in the flyweight division since God fucking forever ago. And she is now facing Tracy Cortez, who I don't think we've seen Tracy Cortez since she lost to Nunes. Not Nunes, Namajunas. So, Tracy Cortez is back. She's the minus 225 favorite. The Vivian Araujo's plus 185 underdog. And going over what we got here. Vivian Araujo is 13-6. Cortez is 11-2. Cortez is coming off of a loss. Vivian Araujo is coming off of a win. Both girls are about the same height, only an inch difference, with Cortez being an inch taller at 5'5". 68-inch reach advantage for Vivian Araujo and a 65.5-inch reach advantage for, well, not reach advantage, for Tracy Cortez, and they both have about the same leg reach. So, I don't think I really have much to say about this fight besides it's going to be a good one, probably. Both of them go to war. Tracy Cortez isn't very known for her ground game at all, striking, and the stand-up is mostly where she shines. But Vivian Araujo is more the grappler in this scenario. She is the jiu-jitsu specialist. So, pretty much comes down to can Tracy Cortez stuff a takedown and defend submissions, and I think she can. So give me Tracy Cortez to beat her by probably a close decision, I would say.
yeah, Cortez is one of those fighters who scare me. So I'm gonna say Cortez got this.
I mean, you lost to Rose Namajunas, but that's okay. You lost to fucking Rose Namajunas, so you're all right.
And what's this, like 9-2 to 11-6 or something?
Yeah, it's 13-6 to 11-2.
Yeah.
So you know,
It's gonna be a banger.
it's gonna be a good fight. I think it actually is gonna be closer. Ooh, that one was pretty decent. Can't even lie to you. I didn't even do a hard crack. That was just a normal crack. I wasn't even expecting that, but hell yeah. Anyway, koozie here. Bunker branding. I don't know if you guys remember or know of Demolition Ranch. His brand right here. Man's just retired. So
No, that I think he also works at Fat Electrician and Habitual Line Crosser. They
mm-hmm.
all go through him. That whole unsubscribed podcast group go through him, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. So yeah, so we're repping the bunker branding koozie today. Shout out to Demolition Ranch. Thank you for the fun and the laughs over all the years, and the crazy amount of guns that you possess.
I know.
Yep, and the crazy amount of guns that you possess and showed me as a child. Next up, our featured prelim: Jack Hermanson, Gregory Rodriguez. This is quite the fight, to be honest with you. I haven't seen Jack Hermanson in a little while. You haven't seen Gregory Rodriguez in about a few months. So, Gregory Rodriguez, obviously Robocop, he is fighting all the time, and we love him. We love him to death. And then, we have Jack Hermanson, who's just the veteran. He's been there. He's done that a couple times. Jack Hermanson's a pretty balanced fighter. So isn't Robocop. Both of them have strengths in all areas of mixed martial arts. So I mean, neither of them you can really say are one or the other. Like I can't really classify either guy as he's the grappler, he's the striker. They're both just very well balanced fighters that have very good abilities in both realms of MMA. If I had to say it, I would say Jack Hermanson's a little bit more crafty on the ground. Like he's the one that'll set traps. But Gregory Rodriguez has so much top pressure and it's so dangerous on top. He can find his submissions up there too, which is hard to do. Usually when you're getting submissions in jiu-jitsu, they come from the bottom. They don't really come from the top position. This guy, mixed with his crazy ground and pound, which is enough to finish a fight on any given Tuesday, um, has a little bit more strength and a little bit more brute force behind him.
But they only fight on Saturdays.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so Rodriguez is the minus 198 favorite currently to Jack Hermansson's plus 164, which I think is fair because these two guys are pretty close when it comes to skill sets. Both of these guys can hang, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the ground. Jack Hermansson's extremely crafty. Like I said, he usually finds a good little submission, gets good leg locks in there. He usually sets good traps, and but Rodriguez is a brute, man. So I mean, it comes down. It's a battle of strength versus finesse, at least in this scenario, if it hits the ground. And I think Gregory Robocop Rodriguez has a little bit more pressure and a little bit more pace that I don't know if Jack Hermansson's going to feel too comfortable keeping up with. So, that being said, I'm going to take Gregory Rodriguez, but I don't think it's going to be a finish. I'm thinking it's going to be a decision, but I think it's going to be a good fight, and that's definitely a good featured prelim for sure. What you got, Ant?
So I do love RoboCop. I feel like the veteran's gonna be able to get the win by decision.
Yeah, there's no
And
finishes happening in this fight. There's going to be almost finishes, probably.
yeah, we're gonna see a lot of close calls.
But I don't think either guy's gonna get finished. RoboCop's really durable, hence the RoboCop, and then Hermansson's just extremely crafty.
He's seen a lot in his time.
He's seen a lot in his time, and he's faced up against even former champions. The dude has faced Sean Strickland at one point. So I mean, the dude's good, man. Both of them are good, very good. And
I know, at least we got respectable odds on this, unlike last week.
yeah, last week was just
Ugh.
terrible, man. I was like, these odds are so. I mean, granted, some of them ended up being true.
Very fair.
But there was another one where I was like, the underdog went in there as a crazy underdog and then ended up becoming the winner. So I was like, well, yeah, that's why you just don't always have to listen to the odds, man. I mean, we'll give you the odds, but like these are fair odds for sure. Given both these guys are very similar in fighting styles, neither of them really have much holes in their game. So I think it's gonna be a good fight. Honest to God, this probably could have gotten made into the featured fight after Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov dropped out because I mean it's only a weight class above it. It's only in actually no, I think that's still at middleweight. Yeah, no, still at middleweight. They could have done this as the featured fight and I would have been okay with it, but Brendan Royval has a bigger name, I would say. And so
The thing is, this fight could definitely have been a featured fight on a fight night,
this could definitely that would main event any fight night.
but this is a pay per view, so I think that's why
International Fight Week at that.
I
So
think that's why they went with Royval.
and plus it's International Fight Week. This is like usually there are some people that aren't crazy like us and you watch UFC every fucking Saturday. There are some people that really only tune in for a couple of pay-per-views a year, and this is usually one of them because it's International Fight Week. They usually bring out the best fights for this pay-per-view in particular. It's like the Christmas of UFC fights. Like everybody's looking forward to fucking International Fight Week. So I mean, and they always pull off good cards for it. I mean, last year it was Yuri Prohaska and Alex Pereira. Prior to that, it was supposed to be McGregor and Chandler, but Gregor pulled out because his little toe went boo boo. He got a little toe
titanium toe.
The
Okay.
titanium toe bone. Anyway, yeah. So bro got a little toe boo boo and pulled out of the fight, and now we're never gonna see that fight ever. Michael Chandler moved on, thank God, twice now. I'm like, oh, thank the Lord. He lost both times, but I don't matter.
At least he isn't waiting. You get to see him.
Yeah, I mean, at least he got a payday, right? He took the show bonus, the pay per view points probably. He got the pay per view points. He got the show salary. Didn't get the win. So I mean, and he did get fight of the night. I think both times when he went against Patty and when he went against Charles. So for the second time, so he got the fight of the night bonus. He got his show bonus, and he got the pay per view points. So yeah, good for Chandler. You know, went in there, got his ass kicked, and then went home with some money in his pocket. So and a good fight to remember. I mean, no matter what it is. I mean, I love to shit on Michael Chandler all the time just because he makes shitty decisions in a fight sometimes. But then again, I'm no better. I haven't been doing it for nearly as long. I'm not a former champion. I've never gone 5 rounds with anybody. So, uh, obviously better than me, but just from an analyst perspective, from purely, I watch TV and see what happens, and I know, and I train, so I know little things. Uh, good old Chandler don't make the best decisions when he's in there sometimes. Which that's fine. I mean, it fits for him, I guess, because he's really just there to entertain at this point in time. Even when he debuted in the UFC, he goes, "I'm here for a good time, not a long time." So there you have it. Shout out Michael Chandler. But yeah, yeah, and yeah. So moving on. Feature prelim should be pretty good. Let's talk about Peyton Talbot. Dude got fucked on in his last fight to after being the minus fucking 1,000 favorite. I'm pretty sure going into that, if not minus 1,000 exactly, very fucking close to it. And he got the break speed off of him. I don't know. How does fucking Peyton Talbot come back? Do you think he's gonna come in here, go against Felipe Lima, and say, "Sorry, bro, you're just at the wrong place, the wrong time. I'm gonna fuck you up," or is he gonna further just go down, break down more, and then we could officially say Peyton Talbot was a fraud and got absolutely fraud checked.
I wish I could say he's gonna show up. I really do. Wish I could say that. But to me, he doesn't strike me as someone who's invested in MMA as like a career or a discipline.
Like there's just something he does, and he gets
Yeah,
money for it.
yeah, he gets a paycheck.
Yeah, like he does it for the job, not for the love of the sport type deal. I mean, obviously, you gotta love it if you're gonna make it your everyday life, but love and just doing it are two different things. Like love and like dedication is one thing. Getting a job and loving what you do is another thing. And I think he's more on that side of the token than anything else. To be honest, I don't have a good feeling for Peyton Tablet in this fight, but I'm still gonna say he wins. Just because I don't know Felipe Lima here. He just beat, who's this dude? Johns, whatever his first name is. He is on the rise, definitely. He's definitely somebody that you want to pay attention to. Peyton Talbot lost to Barcelos at UFC 311 back in January. So before that, he was undefeated. So he's 7-1 now, and good old Felipe here is 14-1. So he is the more established fighter. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Lima's probably gonna beat his ass, but I'm
Well,
still gonna say
I
Talbot.
I don't think it's gonna be like a complete destruction of Talbot. I don't.
Hmm.
I feel like after a loss, most of these fighters they get a bit more motivated to do well. They take their camp a bit more seriously. While it doesn't work out, like with O'Malley, I think this falls in line with that, where they, where he's gonna try harder to live up to the hype, but not gonna be able to capitalize and win on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got Lima for this one.
Yeah.
How? Or do you not know how?
I'm gonna say knockout second round.
Knockout second round. I'm taking Talbot by first round knockout, just cause fuck it. So we'll see what happens. Although Lima on paper should be the one to win this fight, like entirely. I'm still gonna say Talbot, just for my own sake, I guess.
For sure, I remember Lima's last fight, and it was a good watch. I remember having to pay attention to him.
All right, let's talk about Benil Dariush.
Dariush.
Holy shit, this guy has just been unlucky as of late. This dude has just been unlucky. This guy has been taking L after L. And this poor bastard was at one point like a fight away. Not even a fight away. Yeah, no, I'd say a fight away. A fight away from a title fight. He was on like a 9-fight winning streak alongside Islam Makhachev, and they were supposed to fight a couple of times. Never ended up working out. But damn, he's had such a fall from grace. I mean, 1 second you're on this crazy win streak, and next you're just fucking taking L's to the new generation, man. Oh, I mean, granted, the Charles Oliveira loss, I could kind of forgive for that, you know, because that was Charles Oliveira who just lost to Islam, who just lost his belt to the scale, and just was like, I need fucking something, man. So to be honest, he probably fought a very dangerous Charles Oliveira that night, and back Tad Oliveira is just the next level shit. So I mean, that one I could kind of forgive because you had an Oliveira with something to prove, and when there's an Oliveira and something to prove, oh boy, you're in for a long night at the office, my
That's
friend.
a hell of a ride.
You're in for a fucking long night with a lot of harm, and somehow finding out that your body's bending in ways you never thought it really could, because he's just that fucking good. So I mean, I could kind of forgive that loss to him, but the Sarukian loss was just a total washout, man. Sarukian came in with the freaking Superman punch, fucking put him on his ass, and oh boy, it was tough to watch for good old Benny. I think Benny's suffering a little bit right now. He hasn't fought since December of 2023. The dude's been gone for a whole year and a half to this point. So I don't know. Sometimes the time off helps the fighter. Sometimes it makes them dwindle. Now let's look at Renato Moicano. Just got into a title fight, and probably should have been at least 2-3 fights out from a title fight. Still got a title fight because, well, Sarukian fucks his back up right before the greatest lightweight fight was supposed to happen, which sucks. So
Injuries happen in MMA.
yeah, it's just the plague that we have to live with as
Nature
MMA
of the
fans.
beast, as it was.
Yeah, it's just something that we always have to have on the table, something we always have to consider because, well, it fucking happens. It's the nature of the sport. You're literally hitting each other. You're learning to harm a person, harm or dismember somebody. So, I mean, injuries are bound to happen. But his last fight out, excellent showing, at least for what it was worth. A good showing against Makachev for a minute there. He was doing okay. Obviously gets caught at the end of round one. It wasn't even round two. I wasn't remembering it right. It was at the end of round one. But he was holding his own on the ground for a little bit. Got a couple good hits in. You know, he looked all right out there for a little bit. But then, Islam's Islam.
Yeah, I was gonna say Islam's Islam,
But then,
though.
Islam. And prior to that, though, Moicano been in a couple of good ones. I mean, he faces Rafael Dos Anjos, beats his ass. He faces Brad Riddell, beats his ass. Faces Drew Dober, beats his ass. Faces Jalen Turner, which I didn't think he was going to whoop his ass, but he ended up whooping his ass. And then he faces Benoit Saint-Denis. Mind you, this is a Benoit Saint-Denis fresh off the Poirier loss, and beats his ass. And so, I mean, he was like 2 fights, maybe 3 fights away from a title fight. And then he ended up getting it because, well, Armin. But I would say both of these guys have something to prove in this fight. Both of them are older. Moicano is like 35, 36 to this point, and Dariush, I believe, is 34, 35 to this point. So, I mean, both guys are pretty good on the ground, so I don't think we have to really worry about that too much. And Beneil Dariush also has to, like, obviously, when you think Beneil Dariush, you're going to think the grappling, you're going to think the wrestling, you're going to think the submissions, right? Because that's just what he does. Don't sleep on that dude's power. That guy has, like, sneaky power. Like, he can put you on your fucking ass in one punch, really. I mean, that's how he won his fight prior to the fucking what's his face Oliveira fight. Prior to the Oliveira fight, I mean, this dude was beating the brakes off of people. You know what I mean? I mean, Gamrot, he just destroyed, like, utterly destroyed Gamrot in their fight. Like, it wasn't even a contest. But then he on a bit of a skid. He's getting a little old. He's 22-6 with 1 no contest, while Renato Moicano is 20-6 with 1 no contest. So, and both guys are very good on the ground, so I don't think we have to really worry about that too much. Both guys can set up traps, both guys can set up submissions, both guys can get takedowns, and both guys can strike pretty well too. So I mean, actually, should be a pretty good fight. But I don't know who has more to prove here. Beneil Dariush to say that I'm still here, motherfucker, or Renato Moicano to also say I'm still here, motherfucker. So they both had the same reason. They both had the same motivation. Granted, Moicano's in a different spot now than he was when he faced Islam. So isn't Beneil though. I think personally Beneil has a little bit more to gain from this one than Moicano does. If Moicano gets a win here, that would be great. He'd be back in the win column, but he ain't fighting for a title anytime soon. And it's the same with Dariush, but I think Dariush wants to get back to that status of being like top contender. You know what I mean? Because for a while he was. I mean, I won't even forget it. Like a couple years ago, like when I was first starting to get into it, Benil Dariush was in the top 5, and like was staying there. He was like the only guy that would fight down in the top 5. But at the time, because I mean, before then it was Oliveira, it was Poirier, Gaethje, and Dariush. To be honest with you, and Michael Chandler was at number 5. So like that's what the rankings were at one point. It was Charles Oliveira, it was Dustin Poirier, it was Justin Gaethje, it was Beneil Dariush, and Michael Chandler. I remember even matchmaking Beneil Dariush against Michael Chandler at some point, but then Chandler took the Gaethje fight. So I think Dariush has a little bit more to gain from this fight. I think with that being said, I'm gonna take Dariush for this one. To be honest with you, I think he's gonna do it, and I think he might even I think he's gonna finish Renato. To be honest with you, because I think Renato's really like torn up after that title fight loss. To be honest with you, yes, he still wants to say I'm still here, but like after he took that title loss, man, he was like humiliated. To be honest with you, so I mean, I think Dariush has more to gain from this, and I think he's going to capitalize on this because I think Renato Moicano might be in a weaker state mentally than Dariush because I think Dariush coming back with a vengeance right now. So I'm taking Dariush by finish. Don't know when, don't know which way, but Dariush by finish.
I got Dariush for this too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he didn't squander that year off he had, like some people might have.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's got more of a drive going for him to get this win back than Moicano.
Yeah, and plus I just think he has a lot more to gain from this because I mean people are already overlooking Beneil Dariush right now. I'm pretty sure most people are saying Renato Moicano is going to win. To be honest with you, but I'm here to tell you, no, 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 not quite. I'm taking Benny for this one, man, and I think it's actually going to be a really good fight. But yeah, I'm taking Benny for this one.
Yeah, I don't know the how, but I got Benny for this too.
Yeah, I'm taking him by finish. I just don't know when or how. I don't know if he's gonna knock him out or submit him. Nor do I know what round. But I just think Dariush wants to come back, wants to get in this shit. He wants to make a statement to tell you guys, hey, that Dariush, he never fucking left. You know, the Dariush that was supposed to fight Islam Makhachev never left. And I remember being excited for that fight too when it got announced. I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be a good fight. It's the first time Islam's faced a grappler. You know what I mean? But then he goes and becomes Islam Makhachev. But anyway, Brendan Royval, Joshua Van. Joshua Van making the quick turnaround. And Brendan Royval taking a shorter training camp this time around.
Oh, both of this is replacing Costa.
This is
non-existent fight.
Yeah, Costa and Kopylov was supposed to happen. So
Which sucks. I'd love seeing Kopylov and RoboCop too.
Nah, I think you meant Costa, but yeah.
No, I mean.
As
I
the
love
replacement.
watching there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotcha. So yeah, Brendan Royval, Joshua Van. I mean, Brendan Royval.
To be fair, I've actually only seen Costa fight like once. So I mean.
With just Sean Strickland, really? You watched him face Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker beat the brakes off of him. It wasn't much of a contest, but Robert Whittaker beat him. And he beat him pretty silly. But then Sean Strickland was the one that we saw, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to flyweights though. Brendan Royval, like I said, man, Brendan Royval is going to forever be in the top of flyweight. I think for eternity. Not eternity,
Till retirement.
but till retirement or till the sport ages him out. But Brendan Royval is, like I said, when he fought Moreno, when he fought, I don't even think Moreno was champion yet. Nah, Moreno wasn't champion yet when he fought Royval. But definitely when he fought Pantoja, who's also fighting on this card. I told you guys, this isn't going to be the last time Brendan Royval is going to be in a title fight. This dude's getting back up there. And he's going to fight for a title again. And I think it's going to start with Joshua Van. I'm going to be so real. I already kind of spoiled what my prediction is on this. But Brandon Royval is excellent. I like every aspect of him. I mean, he's tough as nails. He's got a good skill set. He's got excellent striking. And he can hold his own on the ground. Grappling's not his thing. But Joshua Van, I mean, I think he's just a flash in the pan right now, to be honest with you. I don't think he's actually this good. I don't think he's actually as good as Brendan Royval.
I
So,
I agree with you. He is not on Royval's level.
no.
Not saying he can't get there.
Yeah, of course he can get there.
Not say, but at the current state, Royval is someone who can and has been at the top of the division. Now, we thought Royval was going to be fighting later than this. He's
Yeah.
come in earlier for this. But
Mhm.
that means he was already in the training camp. And while Van took little to, I'll say little damage in his fight, it doesn't mean that you can go from a camp against someone who's on your level to
A fellow unranked.
someone like Royval who has all the levels
Yeah.
unlocked.
And plus, you have to look at it like this. Like, yes, Joshua Van just won his ranking, and he won it in a stunning fashion. Does this Myanmar fighter have a lot in him that he can prove, and a lot more that he can do in this division? Fuck yeah. But I don't think putting him in against Brandon Royval in a top 5 fight was the next move for him. Now, granted, a lot of people are probably saying the same thing as me, but Van has something that he can do here that would be kind of crazy. So, I mean, I think that's why he said, fuck it, I'll take the fight.
What I think this is, and what I want it to be, is a good way to display more Van
Mhm.
in this fight. I'm
Okay.
not gonna say he's gonna win this, but it can make you more palpable to a wider audience because you fought Royval.
And plus, Royval is pretty known within the flyweight scene, within the
Yeah.
UFC fan base. Like, we know Royval. We like him. And he is, I mean, obviously, without batting like a scoff at the the champion Pantoja. He's like a standard that all flyweights are going to be held to. You know what I mean? Like, he is in the upper echelon. He's the number one ranked flyweight in the world right now. Only reason why he's not fighting for a title is because he got his ass whooped. But no, he didn't get his ass whooped, but he lost to Pantoja, and Pantoja's the guy at this current moment. But what I'm gonna say about Brendan Royval here is this is a close fight on odds. It's a minus 125 favorite to a plus 105 Joshua Van. So the odds are pretty close. And to be honest, they do fight similarly. At least kind of. You know, they're kind of similar. Like, they both have the same kind of like striking flow. They both have the same kind of grappling ability. And there's not much like I can really like, but it just Van does it at that level. Royval does it at this level. Like, they have the same skill set, the same way of fighting, but Royval has faced way higher competition. So, I mean, with that being said, though, I got Royval to win this fight by a pretty solid margin. I think, but that's not to scoff at Van, though. I think Van has an opportunity and chance to do something fucking insane here. If he goes out there and round one knocks out Brendan Royval, he's next in line. Like, he's gonna get him. Like, he's gonna get a title fight. But I just don't think he's gonna get through Brendan Royval. Because Royval is just that effing good. Now, do I think Joshua Van and say another up and comer like Tatsuro would be a good fight? I think that'd be a great fight. I think that's more the fight that they should have made for Van after this. But obviously, opportunity knocked. He took it. Here we are. I would have taken it too if I was in Van's position. If I was number 11 rank and I got offered to fight number 1, fuck yeah, I have an opportunity to do something crazy. And plus, I go in there with everything to gain and not much to lose. You know, regardless of how this fight goes, whether I stunningly knock out the number 1 contender in the first round, or I get my ass whooped for 3 straight rounds, or finished in the first round myself, then people know who I am. And if I go out there and actually give a good fight to Brendan Royval, all of a sudden, I might get another top 5 challenger. I might get a guy in the upper part of the top 10. I might get like number 8, number 7. I might get that Tatsuro fight. You know what I mean? I might get an opportunity to walk into that upper echelon of flyweight. But I have to go out there and I got to perform, which can add some pressure to a fighter. But do I think Joshua Van is a bit of a flash in the pan right now? Yes. I'm not completely sold on him yet. Yes, he won his ranking in stunning fashion. That knockout was beautiful. But I just don't think he gets past Royval. So therefore, I got Royval by whatever the fuck he wants. Really, I don't really know if it's gonna be. I'll just say decision for now. I won't say any finishes, but he could finish Van here.
And another thing I already said, I think Royval's got this. Another thing that I want to emphasize here is Van is doing this on a short turnaround, which you know I don't like. I don't think that bodes well for him either. And I'll say a round 3 finish.
Round three finish for Royval.
I think it's going to take a bit to get him there. He's not going to want to just crush him.
Yeah. And speaking of the flyweights, we're gonna stick to them right now. We're gonna go over this co-main event, which should be an absolute banger. Anyway, we have Alessandre Pantoja, guys, back at it again. We love Pantoja around here. He continues to impress me every time he fights. I say it all the time. I'm a broken record at this point, but it's true, you know. But Pantoja, man, he's on one hell of a fucking run right now. Only rivaled by Mighty Mouse, I would say. Like I would comfortably. I love Figgy. I love Moreno. I love Henry Cejudo. But this Alessandre Pantoja has had the second best title reign in flyweight history in the modern era. I think it's better than what Henry Cejudo did. Yes, Cejudo beat Demetrius Johnson, but that don't matter to me. You know, Demetrius Johnson was the guy at flyweight and will continue to be the greatest flyweight of all time. But Pantoja is the only flyweight title reign that I've seen that's rivaled Mighty Mouse's. So I mean, and that's pretty crazy. I have him as second best flyweight, like better than Moreno, better than Figgy. To be honest, the only thing you really remember about Moreno and Figgy is them fighting each other, because that was both of their title reigns. You know, it's them fighting each other. Like you can't mention Moreno without mentioning Figgy. You can't mention Figgy without mentioning Moreno. And I think that's what their legacy is. They're going to go down as probably one of the greatest rivalries ever. Every single fight that they've had, all four of them, were excellent. You know, it was a great series. You know, and it was a good run. But you know, the division's moved on now. We have Pantoja, and Pantoja's just lining them up and knocking them down real quick. He's like lining them up, going in line, bang. All right, next, bang. All right, next, bang. You know what I mean? Like that is just the run that this dude is on right now. And yeah, that's why I say I think he might be the second greatest flyweight right now. Also, though, Kai Kara France, always so close to a title fight, but not completely getting there. Finally gets there. You know, Kai Kara France is always a fight or two away from a fight or two away from a title fight. He has been for the past 4 years. All right, that's just Kai Kara France. The guy is excellent. He's a great striker, and he's got crazy power for a flyweight. Also got a crazy reach for a flyweight at 69 inches, which is pretty good for a flyweight.
God damn.
So, I mean, granted, Pantoja has 67, so he has a 2-inch reach advantage over him. And about the same amount of fights, though. To be honest with you, both of these guys have had about the same amount of fights. We have 29 and 5 with 29 and 5 for Alessandro Pantoja. We have 25 and 11 with one no contest for Kai Kara France. Both these guys have been around the block a couple of times. Both of these guys know what to do. Both of these guys have faced the highest of the high competition. You know what I mean? And Kai Kara France has always, like I said, been 1 or 2 fights away. But he just got caught up in a weird time because we still had Moreno and Figueiredo fighting when he was absolutely killing every flyweight that came in front of him. You know what I mean? And granted, one of his greatest victories is against Cody Garbrandt back at UFC 269, where he beats a former bantamweight champion, which is insane. But in his last fight, Kai Kara France, granted, Kara France got robbed against Amir Albazi. I will forever stand by that. Kai Kara France in that fight with Amir Albazi should have been a title. It should have been number 1 contender fight for him because Amir Albazi, we haven't seen him since. Like, the dude hasn't fought. And Kai Kara France got totally robbed by him. Like, without a doubt, Kai won that fight. But That was 2 years ago. We're here now. He ended up getting an interim title fight against Brandon Moreno. That was about as close as he ever got to a title shot, and he got bought. He was doing all right. Round 2 probably went to him. Round 1 was a toss-up, so he probably could have went to either one. But round 3, when Moreno whips out the friggin' body kick to the liver, oh boy, that did it for Kai France, and he had to go back on another big-time win streak before he can get back up there. But he's back up there now after a rather stunning and fast knockout over Steve Erceg, who, reminder for you guys that might not remember, because UFC 301 I think is that kind of pay-per-view that a lot of people forget about, because it was obviously between Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev and UFC 300. So I don't think the placement of UFC 301 was ever going to be good, because 302's main event was just spectacular, fight of the year 2025, not 2025, 2024. But Steve Erceg took Pantoja to fucking war, man. Nice.
They're solid
No,
tonight.
they're all pretty. They all been pretty solid tonight. But yeah, Steve Erceg took a fucking fight to Alessandro Pantoja. Almost won, to be honest with you. Yeah, if he didn't go for that fucking takedown in round 5, we could be looking at a completely different timeline right now. That was just a magical night for Steve Erceg. But only problem is Pantoja kept winning, and then his first fight back, Steve Erceg gets flattened by some guy that's been here for a while. So all of a sudden, you're back to being just another contender after having a stellar performance against a champion as then ranked 10. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but then you get knocked out by Kai France in spectacular and fast fashion. So, therefore, Kai France earned this title shot because he just beat the brakes off the guy that fought the champ before the what dude's fight? Not Taira. Asakura. I'm like other Japanese guy. Yeah, the guy that gave the champ the toughest fight before a guy from another promotion came in and right to a title shot. So.
And where's he now?
And where's he now? Where's he now? He went off sprinting, kid. So I don't know where he is. I'm hoping he comes back soon. But Pantoja and France was the fight to make because France obviously just knocked the fuck out of the guy that probably gave the champ his hardest fight to date. Next to Moreno, I would say, because when he won the belt in a war with Brandon Moreno. So I mean, and that fight could have gone. That was my fight of the year in 2023. Obviously, if you guys remember that. So that being said, though, this is an interesting matchup. Because France, he has faced Pantoja before, I'm pretty sure, but it was like a long fucking time ago when they were both brand new. So been a long time. They're both completely different fighters and in different spots now than they were then. And it's interesting because Pantoja is yet to face somebody, I mean, other than each other. Obviously, they fought each other, but nobody kind of fights the same way as France. And nobody really fights the same way as Pantoja. France hasn't seen somebody like Pantoja besides, well, Pantoja. So, I mean, like, that style of fighter. They both haven't really fought that style of fighter, you know? Like, it's just, that's the only way I can describe it, despite them facing each other in the past. Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
They haven't fought someone with this, so it's kind of like the only data they have on each other is from each other.
From each other.
Outdated.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's like a computer trying to get data from 1998 or something when it's the year 2025. So, I mean, it's definitely an interesting fight because they're both so different. They both refined their games so much since their first fight. And it's tough to call this one. I'll be so real with you. Because, like I said, they don't really have much data on each other besides, well, each other. And it was a very long time ago. Like, France hasn't fought another guy that's similar to should I say Pantoja hasn't fought somebody like France since France. And vice versa for France. So, as the odds stand right now, Pantoja is the minus 265 favorite to Kai France's plus 215. But to be honest, I don't think that really means shit. I mean, I can understand why it was made that way. Pantoja's on this crazy run. He just beat the brakes off of a huge Japanese superstar.
Plus, did Pantoja win the last time they fought? Or?
Yeah, he did. And that's the other one. I mean, both of them, and plus France's record has been fluctuating between wins and losses. It hasn't been a solid win streak like it has for Pantoja, so the odds make sense for face value, but I also don't think they mean shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like where the fights and the results are skewered, like they are with Kai, because we all know Kai Kara France. He's a badass.
Yeah.
Then the odds also become skewed. The only time where I'll really argue odds are when something's blatantly wrong or when they're like a 300 difference, like negative 320 or positive 360. That's the only time when the odds really irk me to an extent that I'll pick apart why they're wrong.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I don't go by the odds. Because
Why
like
would you?
you've seen me, we do this every week,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go over there, and when I see a fight, when I see them move in the ring, it's just like just this doesn't matter. What I thought before doesn't matter. What I see, the drive and hunger in a fight, I'll tell you right then and there what I think my odds are gonna be then.
Because our predictions change sometimes when we're watching them.
Like they could have really shitty weight cuts.
Yeah. And then you just, that's why I'm like, you never really want to make your final predictions for these fights until you see them on weigh-in day. Because if you see them on weigh-in day, that can skewer.
Even then,
Yeah.
like we were just talking about Ursic. He got called in fucking hour or two before.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter until they're in the ring
Mm-hmm.
how they've been. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they got bad news. You don't know how they're gonna fight and the ferocity and hunger they're gonna have until they're in the ring and that bell rings.
Yeah. And plus, like, once you get up under them lights, man, when the walkout shenanigans are done, it is real, bro. Sometimes people handle it extremely well, and they bring that energy that they brought at the walkout right into the cage, and they have a great fight. Sometimes on the walkout, they could be so pumped up in the locker room, like, hell yeah, we better get this done. But on the walkout, you might see their body language change a little. You might see them looking a little funny when Bruce Buffer's announcing them. And then you're like, I don't know about this one, man. Like, once you get up into them lights, man, it gets real.
Like
So,
perfect example when we saw the signing on the back, I'm like, shit, what the fuck?
hmm
But that was just me explaining why the odds for the Kaikara France and the Pantoja don't really bother me and how I'm not really going by them.
yeah.
Because they're already skewered just based on how their fights were and how they performed that day.
Which doesn't really mean jack shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because
So,
it's levels like Kaikara showed Ursak. There's levels.
yeah. And, I mean, Usyk had a great night, but then he gets knocked out by the guy that's been here. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Despite the odds being rather, like, comfortably favorable towards Pantoja, I just can't solidly tell you Pantoja's going to win. But I can't solidly tell you that Cara France is going to win. You know what I mean? It's really just going to depend on the day and how their weight cuts are.
How I feel is I can see either of them winning. I lean more towards Pantoja winning than I do Kaikara France.
Just based off of data. So,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
I'm not as big Kaikara France fan as you are, obviously.
hmm
Obviously, you know I dip my fingers in this. I don't live the life. I'm not training. What were you training just yesterday?
yesterday, yeah.
I don't know like the local MMA promotions until I'm told about them. Hence
hmm
why we're going to Tiverton tomorrow.
Yep.
But that's why I can say I feel like Pantoja's got this more than Kaikara.
And I'm still not solid on either guy winning. I'm really not. I just want to see the fight happen. To be honest, I just want to see it because I think it's gonna be a great fight. Like I said, their only data on each other is each other, and it was outdated as shit. So like this fight intrigues me. Like when he went against Asakura, I was like, alright, man, Pantoja's fucking got this shit. But I did understand that Asakura was a good fighter, and I did acknowledge that. But I was like, fucking, and still, when he went against Royval the second time, I think, when he went against Royval in title defense, I was like, Royval's doomed. Pantoja's got this. And like the only time I've ever felt like this uncertain with the Pantoja fight was back when he fought Moreno. To be honest with you, and that ended up going into his favor. But then again, seems like Moreno, every fighter has their kryptonite, right? To every Israel Adesanya, there's a Robert Whitaker. To every to every title holder, there's a Dustin Poirier. You know,
Especially when Israel Whitaker, not Israel and Ferreira.
Pereira. Yeah, I mean that too. It's just because I saw the Izzy Whitaker shit more. Like I said, it's that kind of scenario where it might be where there's like for every Alexander Volkanovski, there's a Max Holloway. You know what I mean? Like there's always like that fighter that just fucking has you, and you're like, God damn it! And like and I think that's just what happened, man. I think Pantoja just had Moreno's number and kept his number even all those years ago before he was a champion. You know, so it's just like the last time I felt this uncertain with the Pantoja fight was against Moreno when he won the belt. So, that being said, when I was uncertain about a fight before, ended up being a new champion. I'm uncertain about a title fight again, so I'm going to go with a new champion. I'm going to say Kai Kara France, but not by a long shot at all. It's going to be, it could be a majority decision. It could be a draw on one person's scorecards. But last time I felt uncertain like this with a Pantoja fight, there ended up being a new champion. So I'm just going with that same hunch again, that same kind of deja vu mentality. Because I remember sitting down in my chair that night on my couch, and I was like, Pantoja's gonna beat him. I think. Do you remember that? Like I was like, as soon as like the bell rang, I was like, yeah, Moreno, and I was like, I think Pantoja beats him. You know?
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
you can never really place. You can never really place your opinion until the event's actually there. Like we can make all the predictions we want.
Like we're posting this a week out. Like,
Like, spoiler alert, guys. One of them's gonna have a bad weight cut. We're gonna cancel the fight. It's gonna be a catchweight bout.
that
It's
would
gonna be
suck.
awful.
That would suck.
Like, just because what we're saying now, this is just for you guys who are avid MMA fans and want to listen to.
Want to hear another person? Yeah.
Another opinion. On fight day, could be entirely different predictions from us.
Usually they stay the same, but they are prone to changing. But yeah, last time I had this uncertain feeling, there was a new champ. I have this uncertain feeling again, so I'm going to say a new champ. I think Kai Kara France is finally going to break through later than usual, but I wouldn't be upset if either guy won, to be honest with you. I mean, if Pantoja wins, he either faces Royval again, or if Van beats Royval, it's going to be Van, you know? But I think if he doesn't fight the winner of that fight, then Pantoja's going to move up. And he's probably going to try his luck against the winner of Sandhagen and Marab, whenever that happens, which will probably be October International Fight Week. Thinking about it. Not International Fight Week.
I'm
Abu
like,
Dhabi
that's...
Week. Abu Dhabi Week. When they go to Abu Dhabi, probably, I think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be Sandhagen, fucking Marab, Abu Dhabi, October. I think that's the fight to make. If Marab's ready, which he took no damage against Sean, and Sandhagen took no damage against Figgy. So I mean, yeah. He either gets that if he wins here, or he definitely gets Joshua Van if Van somehow beats Royval. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking right here for Pantoja. There's still great fights to make for Pantoja. There's still more to be done with Pantoja, for sure, if he wins. Even if he loses, like, I don't think much is gonna happen. He might just move up and just say, all right, I'm gonna try my luck up there.
He also got a rematch too.
And he could get a rematch too. I mean, he
plenty of defenses.
He's plenty of defenses. He's earned it at this point. If Kara France does beat him here, as I'm predicting, then Pantoja can get those rematch clause out 100% and get Kara France again. He's earned it at this point. This dude has been so good in so many of his fights, and I'm like, yeah, that he would warrant a rematch for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna say Kara France for now, but obviously,
and that's only the co-main event.
Oh yeah, there was a lot to talk about there. Well, I mean, I love the flyweight division. I really do. I think it's a great division. I don't think it gets as appreciated as it should. You know, because that motherfuckers, they put on the best fights sometimes. You know, like those two fucking flyweights on the prelims usually always end up fucking kicking ass. So I mean, and plus they're so fast. Those fights are never boring. You know, they're so fast. They move quick. and they're like they hit hard too. There's a lot of stick and move going on there. But main event of the evening: Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, vacant lightweight belt on the line. Oh my gosh, guys, this is going to be such a fucking banger. I'm so excited for this fight. Oliveira finally gets a title shot again after fucking years of just being that close to it and just not making it or just not being available at that time or getting cut in practice. I.e. October 2023. But that should have happened. But then Volk got knocked out again, and then Dustin Poirier got his stamp, and then the Dustin Poirier fight happened. Then Armin was next. So Charles Oliveira's just been a victim of bad timing, really, and just an unfortunate cut in October of 2023 where he didn't wear any fucking headgear on his last day of sparring. Damn it, Oliveira. But this fight is so cool for so many reasons. Both of these guys are jiu-jitsu aces. I'll start with that. Both these guys can work on the ground, and they can work pretty well down there. Both on top and on bottom. Like, these guys on the ground are pretty much skill for skill a match. A power difference? Sure. I would say Topuria has more power in his hands. But from But can't sleep on the Oliveira power. Oliveira did send Gaethje halfway across the fucking octagon once. I don't know if you remember that. UFC 274. There was a straight right that just connected flush with Justin Gaethje, and then the bro flew halfway across the octagon. So, I mean, and Justin Gaethje, to this day, mind you, Justin Gaethje has fought Cowboy Cerrone. He has fought Dustin Poirier. He has fought Michael Chandler. He has fought so many killers. He said Charles Oliveira punched him the hardest. So, I mean, when Justin Gaethje has enough brain cells to remember who hit him the hardest, you best believe it got hit pretty hard, So, don't sleep on the Oliveira power, but I would say Topuria has slightly more. Like, if Charles Oliveira is, like, if you're playing UFC 5, I'm going to say it like this, his punch power is, like, 4.5 stars, while Ilia's is 5, you know? I think that's the only difference here. Like, and if he catches Ilia Topuria just slightly leaning into it, or slightly moving into like a kick or something, or catches him on an exit or something like that, it could mean the difference for Charles Oliveira. But Charles Oliveira is also a little bit more of a dynamic striker. He uses more weapons. He uses his hands, yes, but he also uses kicks. He also uses knees. He uses his elbows. Topuria is mostly just a boxer when it comes to the striking. Boxer with a low kick. But insane power in those hands. So if you get touched one too many times by them hands, it's like cinder blocks hitting you. I would say Topuria has better boxing than Charles Oliveira, but he's not a better striker than Oliveira. Because Oliveira has got the dynamic strikes, he's got the volume, and he uses all of them pretty well. The dude trains like crazy Muay Thai. Like, Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu is a deadly combo. And now he's mixing in the fucking offensive wrestling. He took down Michael Chandler, who's best known for his top pressure in his wrestling. So, I mean, did y'all forget that Charles Oliveira fucking exists? I mean, yes, Topuria went on a legendary run at featherweight. Fucking legendary. Only seconded by Conor fucking McGregor. As quick as, with all the, you shouldn't have won that, but you ended up winning. Like, only seconded to Conor McGregor, extremely crazy run at featherweight, right? But I know y'all seen that. Oh, he knocked out Max Holloway. Oh, he knocked out Volk. Oh, Charles Oliveira got Charles Oliveira's gonna get chinned. Oh man, did y'all fucking forget Charles Oliveira? Did y'all forget Bronx? Did y'all forget that motherfucker? Do you forget who he is? Like, Topuria should be shitting bricks at the thought of fighting Charles Oliveira. Because this is a pretty crazy fight for him. So, now, I'm not saying that Topuria is fucked. He's not fucked. But, I'm just saying, he should be looking at the Topuria fight like, ew, fuck. Like, yeah, I beat Volk, yeah, I beat Max, but, ooh, Jesus, he's a different animal. You know what I mean? Plus, Oliveira's got motivation out the ass. Now, that's my case for Oliveira. Right? So, and I see so many people on like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram always saying, "Oh, me getting ready to see Charles Oliveira get chinned at UFC." I'm like, are we underestimating Charles Oliveira here? Do you know what happened last time you underestimated him? He became a fucking champion. You know what else happened when you underestimated him? He defended that belt. So I'm just saying, don't be counting Charles Oliveira out as much as you guys have been. Now, this doesn't say. Now, I'm not saying that Charles Oliveira is going to mop the floor with Ilya Topuria. Fuck no. Oliveira, likewise, should also be shitting his pants that he's fighting Ilya Topuria. He should be looking at him like, oh, well, damn. Not only does he have crazy power, knows how to get in close, but he can work on the ground too. It's not like I'm just facing a Dustin Poirier where I just got to deal with a couple of power punches and then not have to worry about him playing on the ground with me. You know what I mean? No. Topuria will play on the ground with him. You know, like the only time that like Charles Oliveira should be looking at this kind of like he looked at the Islam fight, I would say. But that's my case. But Topuria, man, that dude's in his prime. He's 28 years old. He knocked out two of the greatest featherweights ever, and you just cannot scoff at that. Like the dude is good, and the dude talks so much shit, but he goes and he fucks and backs that shit up. You know what I mean? It's like insane. What the run that Topuria has been on as of late, but man, this Charles Oliveira, man, it's gonna be such a good fight. The odds are super duper close because there aren't any odds. So I mean, they can't even decide.
We
They're like,
suspect they're very close.
we suspect they're very close, but there aren't any odds. But if it's taking this long, we're a week out from the fights, and they haven't made any odds on this shit yet, and it's a championship main event on International Fight Week, that should be telling you something. Even Vegas is having trouble deciding who's winning this fight.
And Vegas knows how to do bets.
Yeah, and even Vegas is having trouble deciding this fight. And I'm like, this is going to be an insane fight. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to come down to who makes a mistake first. That's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to who can implement their game plan better and who can follow through with it, and can you stay disciplined when you get into those deep rounds. When you get into those war rounds where you're like both nearly getting finished on both sides, you're both knocking each other, stunning each other, or when you're getting deep in the fight, you're in the fourth round, you're fucking beat up, you're tired. Who can stick to the game plan? Who can stick to it? I think this is going to be the hardest that we're seeing Ilya Topuria get tested, for sure. Plus, the dude's never tried at lightweight yet. This is a new weight class. He hasn't fought here before. He had crazy power at 145, but bit of a weight bully. Not to take anything away from the accomplishments of Ilya Topuria at featherweight. Bit of a weight bully, to say the least. Made some massive weight cuts to get to 145. Makes sense that he went to 155 and didn't want to cut back down. He he did defend his belt at least before vacating it, so he didn't just win it and then move up to another division and leave another one on hold for 2 years.
And
McGregor.
that probably never happened.
McGregor. Anyway, he actually went down and did everybody. What was the main gripe with Ilya Topuria before he fought Max Holloway? He never fought Max Holloway.
Never got that.
He never
Max
got the Max
Holloway
Holloway test. Never got the Max Holloway test. Went around the gate and beat Volk. Had a great night. Volk came off a knockout loss. But then what did he do? Became the first person to knock out fucking Max Holloway. So I mean, he went back down just to prove a point. And he proved that point. And he passed that test with fucking flying colors. But I just don't know. On his way up, Ilya Topuria hasn't fought a Charles Oliveira. Really hasn't. A lot of people are featherweight mostly just box. They're mostly just throwing punches. And sometimes they just have crazy kicks, and that's like the only thing they do. So then, the wrestler's able to get in and take him down after a kick or something, while they're off balance, or just slip a punch and
go for the double leg.
Yeah, go for a double leg, like that's like. But Ilya Topuria hasn't faced Charles Oliveira. Now, I would say Charles Oliveira has faced into Ilya Topuria before. Islam Makhachev. Guy that's also good on the ground. Guy that's also good at striking. He's fought somebody similar to Ilya Topuria, while Ilya Topuria has not fought someone similar to Charles Oliveira. At least from my gaze, from my lens, if you will. So, that would probably help him, Because, I mean, what's the next best fight that we wanted to make besides this one? We wanted to make Islam and Topuria, but that didn't end up happening, and probably won't happen at this point.
I
But
mean, if Ilya wins the belt and
if
if
Ilya
Islam
wins,
wins,
if he wins at welter, I think if he wins at welterweight, he might just stay there. That's the only problem.
you
If
know,
he loses at welterweight, then he'll definitely come back down if Topuria is the champ for sure. But
I think even if they win, then he might want the mega fight
mm,
and then retire.
true, Islam doesn't have many fights left. We might only have like 3 fights left with him, maybe if that, 3, maybe 4. Um, but I will say that Charles has fought somebody that's similar to Ilia Topuria. Obviously, not a carbon copy of Ilia Topuria. Ilya moves a little bit differently, but he has the same attributes that Islam Makhachev has. A good grappler that can strike, you know? A good grappler that can hang on the feet for a bit. And I think that's going to help Oliveira in this. But Ilia Topuria is just crazy, man. That dude's not to be fucked with. And I have a hard time making a prediction for this fight. I really do. And to be honest, I have every right to not be sure of this one because it's coming down to, like I said before, who can stick to a game plan, who can implement the game plan, and who's not gonna fuck up. It's coming down to one person fucking up, and it's gonna be like the most minuscule fuck up. Like I should have moved to the left on the ground rather than the right, or I should have thrown the jab rather than my cross. Like that's what it's going to come down to, these minuscule things. That's what's so exciting about this fight. That's why it should be the headliner. That's why it's for the world title. You know, like we live for these kinds of fights, and boy howdy, we're getting it. So I have a hard time making a prediction for this, but I think with the way that Charles has been, I always see something new out of Charles Oliveira whenever he fights. I usually see the same formula with Ilia Topuria. Usually gets in there, threatens a couple takedowns, then ends up knocking somebody out with his hands. You know, maybe even gets a takedown, controls you on the ground for a bit, pounds your face in for a little while, or maybe threatens a couple submissions. With Oliveira, I always see him add something new. Like in this past Chandler fight, his last one, we saw the offensive wrestling, and we saw how successful that was. We saw his ground and pound, we saw his top pressure, and he couldn't buck off Muscle Milk Mike. Okay, like Muscle Milk Mike could not buck off Charles Oliveira, which you would think it was supposed to be the other way around. You would think that Michael Chandler should be overpowering Charles Oliveira, and that's what I thought might happen when it came to that. Even though I still predicted Charles Oliveira to win that fight, I said if Chandler can get them takedowns and can just smother him with top pressure and just avoid the full guard, then he might be able to do something. But then we actually saw Charles Oliveira be the wrestler, and then poor Michael Chandler was just fucking backed up against the wall. Ilia Topuria hasn't faced somebody that has the same kind of pressure that Charles Oliveira does. And also, it's the new weight class. Now, could he be better up here? Sure. But could he also be equal to everybody here? Yes. So, subject to change, guys. But Charles Oliveira becomes your champion again. Final prediction. I don't know how. I don't know what way. I don't know if it's finish. I don't know if it's decision. But I got Charles Oliveira.
I've also got Oliveira for this, and just for a few reasons. He's very comfortable in the weight class, obviously.
Been here, done that. Former
Um,
champ. You know?
Ilya hasn't fought at this weight class, to my knowledge,
No, he
so
hasn't.
we don't know how that's going to transfer over. And Ilya is actually someone who I can respectfully say should have gone up a weight class.
Mm-hmm.
You know how when they go up, I'm always worried. Oh,
Skeptical. Yeah.
yeah. Ilya definitely proved that featherweight, he's gonna fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see how he does another weight class up.
Yeah.
And I think I still like if if I were to see on a bar, right,
Mm-hmm.
how motivated they are, Oliveira's is breaking through. Just he wants what he shouldn't have lost. You know that was it 0.5 over?
Yeah, it was 0.5 pounds over.
0.5 over. he
And he lost the belt.
he's holding that grudge forever. And
Yeah.
I feel like that motivation and the comfort he has there, not to mention the age and the practice that Oliveira has. He's done a lot of MMA. fought a lot of opponents, has seen a lot
Of
of
different things.
fights and a lot of opponents,
And still got it, too.
which is why I think that he'll be able to, on experience, win this.
Yeah. And, I mean, Ilya, I mean, I like his future at lightweight. I really do. Yeah, I mean, he could become the champion here. I'm not saying it's a done deal that Oliveira wins. I just think it's going in that direction. But Ilya Topuria at this weight class, if he becomes a champ or not, has plenty of good fights in front of him. And I think in those
He has a
fights,
whole weight class to go
yeah,
through.
he's got a whole weight class to go through. He already went through the other one. Fucking go through this one now. Let's see him face Armin. Let's see him face Justin Gaethje maybe. Let's see him face trying to think about the top 5 lightweights. Dan Hooker.
I'm
Like,
thinking
you know.
if Holloway wants to try getting it back, because Holloway's there too.
Yeah, he can fight Holloway again. I mean, Max did have a good couple of rounds against him. Round 1 he did pretty well against Ilya. But then, round 2 and it was the end of Max Holloway's unbreakable chin.
And now they got more tape on Ilya too.
And like also like I mentioned earlier, I see the same formula for Ilya Topuria every time. You don't see the same Oliveira every time. And just based off of that's another reason why I kind of said Oliveira.
I can expect how Ilya's going to fight. With Oliveira, I always got to be worried about what I'm not expecting.
Yeah, because like, man, Ilya Topuria follows the same formula, man. Whether it's on the ground or on the feet. At least I've noticed.
Like Oliveira's last match. All right, get in there, backpack him, get your win, get your way to the title. Wait, is that offensive wrestling? What?
Uh,
What was that?
nah, for real. Well, anyway, that being said, there's the International Fight Week predictions. You got anything else, Ant?
Sponsors?
Sponsors? Follow the socials. Have a good night, everybody.